So it looks like we've had some good discussions and a lot of networking going on today, a lot of shared thoughts and ideas about what can be done in the Niger Delta. I tried to jump across as many sessions as I could and see how the discussions are going, but it's very encouraging to see a lot of lively discussion and a lot of sharing of ideas and information. So as Essie said, the burning question is, what is next? Where do we go from here? And does it stop just with discussions and shared information, or is there more that can be done? Obviously, on our side with the NDPI Foundation and the PIN Foundation, we want to see it be more than just a talk shop. We want to see that, that we're following up on these collaboration opportunities. So I'd like to share with you some ideas of how we will be following this up, and then also turn it over to some of my colleagues in PIN and in NDPI to talk a little bit about some of the mechanisms that we have for following up these discussions. For those of you that are based here in the U.S., we're establishing two informal NDDF, short for Niger Delta Development Forum, working groups here in Washington to facilitate more shared support and collaboration around development opportunities in the region. So one group will be focused on identifying shared opportunities for donors and investors. This group's going to explore how donor funds and investment strategies can complement each other in ways to achieve stronger public-private sector support for development in the region, and to also ensure our efforts don't duplicate, or also to ensure that we don't duplicate efforts or negatively impact each other in some way. And of course, just general sharing of lessons learned and data, information that can be of use to each other to make better decisions. The other NDDF group will be for implementing development organizations and focused on exploring synergies and shared lessons learned about their programs and efforts in the Niger Delta. We'll be identifying new funding and resources for development programs and initiatives, and sharing information and lessons learned to enable each other to make better decisions. So these are kind of the two primary working groups that we will be establishing as a result of this. It may be within those groups, if we get a lot of interest and a lot of people involved, that we can establish subcommittees to focus on specific issues, maybe some of those issues that we talked about today, including the research and around research and data and around peace and security or doing business. So we'll let those groups kind of identify how they want to divide up, and a lot of it will depend on just how much interest that we have. So, I'd encourage you, if you are interested in doing more and in working with us in some way, you can look up our website, or you can contact any of the people that have been in touch with you in relation to this forum today. Or there's a number of mechanisms, and Eniola will be mentioning later the website that we've established for this forum to be able to have an effective mechanism for follow-up. And for those of you that are based in Nigeria, I'd like to encourage you to participate in our next Niger Delta Development Forum, which is actually next month in Calabar in Cross River State. And so these forums are an ongoing dialogue for development. We don't see them as single, distinct, and discrete activities that are just focused on what we want to talk about in a given day. In the forums that we've had in Nigeria, we've had regular follow-up and discussion and collaboration on some of the issues and strategies that have been identified, and our intention is to do that here on the U.S. side and to link those efforts up. So if we're meeting here in Washington, we will be sharing information about what our teams in Nigeria are doing and vice versa, and making sure that we get as much collaboration really on both sides of the Atlantic that we can. And so to tell you a little bit more about the forum that we have in Nigeria next month, I'll turn it over to Micah Mendy, who is PIN's Analysis and Advocacy Officer, to tell you a little bit more about that forum. But just before I turn it over to Micah, I have to say a kind of a personal thanks to the teams of people that we've had that have been supporting this event and running around behind the scenes and making it all happen. And amongst the NDPI and PIN staff, there's been a lot of effort that's gone into it. And so I won't list out the whole list of names because there's quite a lot of people involved, but I think you've had a chance to see them and appreciate them. But I do have to give a special thanks to Eniola Mafe, our programs manager for the NDPI Foundation. She's been working on this event for months, and she's been working really, really hard on it. So she will be celebrating this evening when this is all done. So with that, I'll turn it over to Micah to talk a little bit about the next NDDF in Calabar.
For us in Nigeria, the NDDF that we'll be holding in November will be the third in its edition. And as Dennis has mentioned, this forum is not going to be a talk shop, but it's actually designed to engage in dialogue that has practical implications for partnerships and investment in agriculture. And for that, the theme for the NDDF in Calabar is unlocking investment opportunities in agriculture. And this forum will be taking place on the 25th and 26th of November. And the whole discussion will be centered around 6 key questions. And these are: 1, how can government and business leaders promote cross-regional initiatives and alliances to unlock underemployed economic resources for the benefit of all Niger Deltans? What role can government, business, civil society, and youth play in mitigating violent conflicts for agricultural development? How are national agricultural challenges perceived and addressed in the region? How can a better understanding of the dynamics of navigating today's fast-changing agricultural environment be coordinated in a collaborative manner? What are the investment options that incorporate poor people into the agricultural value chains as suppliers, employees, producers, marketers, and transporters? And what immediate action needs to be taken to unlock investment opportunities in the identified agricultural value chains? And so 4 major sub-themes will be discussed as a way to address some of these questions. And these are investment opportunities in local agricultural commodity value chains. We'll also be having another sub-theme on the impact of conflict and violence on agricultural investments. There will also be another sub-theme that will focus on opportunities for women and youth in agriculture. And there's also going to be the last one, which was focus on government perspectives on agricultural investments. And so we enjoin you to continue this conversation at the upcoming Niger Delta Development Forum. And we also encourage you to inform all your Nigeria-based partners about this event, and also contact us with any questions that you may have online via email or through social media, or you could simply talk to me or any of my colleagues that are here after this forum. We strongly believe that together we can work towards increasing income and employment by unlocking investment in agricultural development in the Niger Delta. And so in terms of what do we do next, I will turn on to my colleague, Eniola, to briefly run through that. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So I know I'm standing in between the end of the program and the beginning of the reception, so I will keep my part brief. So just to follow on from what Dennis and Micah had mentioned about the ways that we can move the conversation forward and get to practical elements of this discussion. We have created with PIND and NDPI, as well as our partners, have created the Niger Delta Development Forum website that is specifically a platform utilizing the strength of our existing partnerships, with ND-Link being a key piece of that, to provide a platform to engage. So the conversations that you see from the Twitter screens that you have seen, even in this forum as well, as the interactive clickers, all of that information will be driven through this website. So you are aware of what is going on, not only in this forum, but in subsequent forums, and also previous forums, as we mentioned. There were forums in Benin and a forum in Port Harcourt as well. So the website is only as good as the information that we get into it. We will certainly be doing our part in terms of sharing photos and videos, with thanks from our fantastic communications team headed up by Giselle McAuliffe. And we will also be looking at the expanding of more resources and information over the following weeks. So as you see, please visit the NDDF forum website. It's nddforum.org over the next couple of days and weeks, and we'll be populating that with more information as we go along. And also, please sign up for the email updates that will come out quarterly. We will not spam you, we promise, but we do want to share information to be able to engage you as much as possible. So you can engage as little or as much as you would like, and we would prefer the latter. So with that, I will close this session. We thank you very much for taking time out of many of your busy schedules, for flying in from Nigeria, from near and far, to be a part of this discussion and to continue to be a part of this discussion. So on behalf of NDPI and PIND, we thank you very much for your willingness to share ideas and to collaborate and continue to collaborate with us. So on behalf of NDPI and PIND, thank you very much, and thank you for being a part of this conversation.